I never thought a simple laugh could break a marriage, until the day hers finally did.
I never imagined that simple household chores could become the fault line of a marriage. But it wasn't the dishes, the laundry, or the mopping that broke us. It was my wife Marin's laugh. Not a soft, companionable laugh shared between two people weathering life together. No, hers was sharper, cooler cut from a blade honed by dismissal. A laugh that stripped a man of his dignity, one small chuckle at a time. It all started after her promotion. Marin worked in marketing, a hurried world of iced coffees, tight schedules, and people who believed speed was the same as importance. I had been so proud of her, truly. But success changed the way she looked at me. Or maybe it just illuminated something that had always been there. One evening, I was folding laundry in the living room. Shirts, towels, nothing unusual. Marin came in, her purse still on her shoulder, scrolling through her phone. She barely looked up before letting out a small laugh. "You look like a house husband, Cal," she said. "Cute, though. Adorable. Cute, adorable. Words you use for pets or children. Not for your husband." I didn't say anything, but a crack formed inside me, that night quiet, hairline, and dangerous. Her teasing continued, sometimes whispered, sometimes loud enough to make our friends glance at each other uncomfortably. "Careful, Callum," she'd say, ruffling my hair. "You're making it hard for me to see you as a man." I'd laugh weakly because I didn't know how else to react. But respect, as my sister once warned me, shatters quietly long before it collapses completely. I didn't understand her words then, but I was about to. The final fracture arrived on a Saturday morning. I had just finished mopping the kitchen floor, headphones in, trying to find some rhythm in the routine. Marin walked in wearing a new blazer, her heels tapping authoritatively across the wet tiles. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed, that familiar smirk on her lips. "You know, watching you mop is honestly hilarious," she said. "Hilarious?" I repeated, pulling out an earbud. "Yeah, you look domestic." "And that's funny." Her shrug was casual, but her eyes were cold. "Well, someone has to be the wife in this relationship," she laughed. And that laugh, that sharp one, cut clean through me. I felt something inside me quietly rise to its feet. It wasn't anger or rage. It was something steadier. The next morning, I rose early. I made coffee and sat in silence at the dining table. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace, the kind that had been missing for months. By the afternoon, a plan had formed. I carried it out with the same care I once reserved for loving her. I went into our bedroom, opened the closet, and began packing Marin's bags. Not angrily, not clumsily, deliberately. I folded her sweaters the way she liked, wrapped her perfume bottles in soft shirts, and placed her heels at the bottom, cushioned by denim. I zipped everything neatly, as if preparing her for a journey we once dreamed of taking together. But this journey was different. I wasn't throwing her out. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I had rented her an Airbnb near her office, comfortable, furnished, with 1 full month paid in advance. A month for space. A month for clarity. A month for me to breathe without the sting of her mockery. When Marin returned that evening, she stopped dead in the hallway. Her gaze fell on the suitcases lined up by the door. And for the first time in months, she did not laugh. Confusion, shock, and fear washed over her face. "Callum, what is this?" she asked, her voice trembling. I took a deep breath, feeling like I was stepping out of a storm into open air. "We need space," I said. "And you're going to take it." She searched my eyes and found something unfamiliar there. A steadiness she hadn't seen in a long time. For the first time in months, I felt like a man standing on solid ground. "You're sending me away?" she whispered. "No," I replied calmly. "I'm asking you to live somewhere else for a while." "Callum, this is insane. We're married." "We are," I agreed. "But we've stopped treating each other like it." She shook her head. "You can't be serious. You're upset because I joked about chores. That's why you're doing this." "You didn't joke," I said gently. "You mocked." There's a difference. The quick comeback she always had, the smirk she always wore, it didn't arrive. "You're overreacting," she murmured. "I never meant to hurt you." "That's the problem," I said quietly. "You didn't care enough to notice you were." She flinched. Just slightly, but it was enough. I explained the Airbnb, the month, the bags, the need for space. Her voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me it bothered you this much? I did, I said softly. Just not out loud. Tears gathered in her eyes, slow and heavy. And I realized painfully that this version of her, the one who was suddenly afraid, suddenly small, was the one I had missed, the one who had once looked at me with softness. But I couldn't let that sway me. Respect must be rebuilt stone by stone or not at all. Marin walked to the suitcases, touching one as if to confirm it was real. You're serious? I am. And after a month. What happens? That depends on who we choose to be during that month. Silence stretched between us. Finally, she nodded. Okay, she whispered, if this is what it takes. I'll go. We carried the bags to her car together. The night air was cool. As she stood by her car, she asked softly, Callum, do you still love me? I waited a moment before answering. Love isn't the issue, I said. Respect is. She pressed her lips together, nodded, got into the car, and drove away. I didn't feel triumph. I felt a steady, unfamiliar, grounding calm. Thank you for listening. If you've ever felt unseen or disrespected in a relationship, know that your feelings are valid. Sometimes the quietest battles are the most important ones to fight for yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.